What is up, guys? Nick here, and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts about the second episode to season 3 of Arrow, titled Sara. Many of us were kind of shocked by the ending, actually, for the premiere, where, spoiler alert, they kill off Sarah Lance, Black Canary, or, well, the Canary, as they call her on the show. Jumping right into this episode, it pretty much picks up directly after the end of the first one. We see Laurel carrying her sister's body to the Arrow Cave, and the rest of the team shows up, and they're all pretty destroyed by it. The only one who doesn't show any emotion is Oliver, obviously, because later on in the episode he reveals that he wants to show emotion, but since he's sort of looked at as the leader and people look up to him, he can't really show his true feelings, otherwise it'll cause everyone else to basically collapse around him. It shows weakness in him, and he has to show that he can remain calm and content with the situation. But he does care about Sarah a lot, though. He is very distraught by her death. Yeah, that's basically what the opener is to the episode, and we also get a lot more into the dynamic of Ray Palmer and Felicity, and they actually something kind of took me off guard with this episode is that halfway through it, Felicity, she's kind of distant with Oliver, and she's trying to push away this Ray Palmer guy because he keeps trying to act like a jerk and just say like, "Hey, I'm rich. You should work for me because I bought out the company and I bought everything, so I'm your boss now." And then by the end, like one thing I really didn't like about Felicity in this episode is that she doesn't she's upset with Oliver because he doesn't show emotion over Sarah's death, like blatantly show emotion. And then by the end of that, she says, "I'm done with you and I want to have a life down here. I don't want to see you die next." So she basically ditches Oliver and goes with Ray Palmer, which made me like really upset because the entire episode she's saying, "No, I don't want to go with Ray Palmer. I'm not going to work for you. I'm going to quit and do something else." And then she gets into this little fight with Oliver, and now she's like, "I quit being with you, Oliver, and I'm just gonna go back to Ray Palmer and work for you." I didn't really like that. I just thought it was kind of lazy writing, and it was kind of inconsistent with her character in the rest of the episode. She reminded me of like Thea from the first couple seasons, where she would just be flip-flopping back and forth between her emotions and stuff. So I don't really like the motivation behind that. I thought that was just kind of meh, because I generally like Felicity's character, but I didn't really like that a lot. Another cool thing about this episode was the villain, actually, Komodo, and he was this pretty honorable mercenary, basically. The entire episode we think that he's the one that killed Sarah, but it turns out that once Oliver and Laurel actually confront him, he says that he wasn't the one who killed her, that he was in Bloodhaven that night on another mission. So this leads people to think that he did not actually kill Sarah, and my theory is that Ra's al Ghul is the one that killed Sarah because the voice modulator he had in the first episode, it didn't sound like anyone we've seen before. And also she looked really surprised to see him, and she said, "What are you doing here?" And then he just shot her. So I'm guessing it was Ra's al Ghul, but we're not going to find that out until later. Um, but yeah, Komodo was really cool. He's not dead, by the way. He got picked up by the cops, so we might actually see him in the Suicide Squad on this show too, because they're probably gonna say like, "We need a man of his skill set" and whatever. So that was cool. The other thing was that an interesting thing is that the flashbacks this season take place all in Hong Kong, not on the island. So we actually get to see what Oliver was doing. The other part of his 5-year gap from civilization, basically, and now he's like pretty much a mercenary working for Amanda Waller in Hong Kong, and he's tasked with killing his friend Tommy, which we see back on the show. Now Tommy is in Hong Kong because he's looking for Oliver after an email went off, an email alert, and Oliver basically is obviously says, "I don't want to kill my friend, so how do we make it so that it seems like we killed him or it seems like we got rid of him without actually killing him?" So they set up an elaborate plan, and basically that pans out. So that was cool. Another interesting thing is at the very end of this episode, there's kind of sort of a montage sequence with music playing, and we get to see Laurel in her apartment, and she's holding up Sarah's jacket. So this leads me to believe that she's going to become the new Black Canary for the show. Also, Katie Cassidy has posted on her Facebook and Instagram that she's working out for her new role. So it's pretty much obvious that she's going to be Black Canary in the show. I mean, they're obviously going to do that because Laurel in the comics is Black Canary. So, just put the two and two together, and there you go. So that was cool. And then at the very, very end of the episode, we got I think it might have been like an after credits thing or an after commercial break thing where we get to see a scene where a masked person is beating up guards in some big mansion, and it turns out that it's Thea, and Malcolm Merlyn's training her, and she's basically a hand-to-hand assassin now. It looks pretty awesome. So we're gonna see Thea come back. Obviously, Oliver has no idea what's happening with her, because he believes that she left the city with or somewhere she fled the city at the end of season 2, but turns out that she went with Merlyn, her father. So I'm actually pretty curious to see where that character arc is gonna go. If she'll ever come back to her brother, or if she still has animosity towards him. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this episode. A lot of stuff happening actually. A lot of plot developments that are gonna take place later on in the season. Yeah, just let me know what you guys think about the theory that who really killed Sarah. I think it's Ra's al Ghul. You guys might think it's someone else. I don't think it's Nisa or anyone else in the League of Assassins. I think it's only Ra's himself, because Oliver even said that the League doesn't kill their own. So I think he's the only one that can really kill anybody he wants, basically. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that, or what do you think about Laurel taking over for Black Canary like she does in the comics, and the whole Felicity thing, joining Ray Palmer and basically leaving Team Arrow. Yeah, so I guess I'll see you guys next week for the next episode. So later.